this is Shanti coming to you in another video here on my channel with Shanti Speaks. Today I will be talking about part 2 of my ectopic story, and I believe I left off when I got to the recovery room. So let's talk about it. Let's dive right in. So after I was in the recovery room, I told you guys that they had the bassinet and they had the Johnson & Johnson's baby lotion and everything in the room as if I had a baby, and I came back to the room with no baby. In fact, I came to the room with no baby and no fallopian tube on my right side. Every time my baby was born, there was a lullaby that played at the hospital on the floor that I was on. And so every single time it was just daunting to just hear over and over again that somebody was blessed with a baby. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here not blessed with a baby at all. So I had several people come to the hospital to visit me. I had several people come and share their stories with me. People who I didn't even know had went through, you know, ectopics and miscarriages and things like that. And it actually blessed my life because I was actually able to look at these women in a different light. You know, some of these women have never told anybody that they even experienced what they experienced. And in fact, they told me like, well, I've never told anybody this, but, and they'll, you know, raise up their shirt and they'll show me, they showed me their scars. And it was the same scars that I had. And I'm about to cry right now because you think you're going through something until you know that somebody else went through it, you know? You think that you are like the only person that goes through things, and you're really not. So when these women came to me and they shared their stories to me, it was almost as if God was sending these people to show me that you too can make it through. You too are gonna, you know, bounce back from this. You too are going to, you know, recover from this. And this would be a testimony for you to be able to help somebody else. So at first, y'all, I ain't gonna lie, I was pissed. I was pissed off. I was talking to God like, listen, you put me through this. You made me go through this. Why would you even let me get pregnant if you knew it was gonna end this way? Why would I even go through this? Why, you know, me and my husband been wanting to have a baby for the longest time. We've been together at this point. Let's see, that was 2019, so that would have been 3 years ago. So we would have been in year 6 or 7. So at this point, we 6 or 7 years in, and you still haven't blessed us with a kid. My parents are getting older. They don't have any grandchildren. Like, God, why would you do this to me? Why would you do this to me? Why would you let me be embarrassed? Why would you let me be so excited and just snatch it right from under me like that? I mean, y'all, I was so pissed. I was so pissed because I serve in God. I teach, I dance. And not to say that God does things to give you things back because you do things. No, but I was living in the righteous way. So to me, I felt like God gives you what you ask for and give you the desires of your heart if you live the way that He wants you and desires for you to live, right? But in turn, His rejection now was my protection. And I have another channel that I've actually started called Shanti's World, and this goes into depths about the divorce and the breakup and what I experienced when it comes to narcissistic abuse and all of those other things, which I just started this channel this year because my divorce was just finalized this year. So I didn't want to talk about the divorce until it was finalized. I didn't want to share what was going on in my marriage until my marriage was actually done. But if you want to, you can hop over to that channel. It's called Shanti's World. It's also on YouTube, and we just go into depth about relationships, family, love, what love is, boundaries, narcissism. I mean, I talk about it all because I've experienced it in my marriage. I've experienced it in my life. So everything I've experienced, I'm giving to you guys. Every pain that I've had, I'm giving to y'all. The heartbreak, the infidelities, all that, I'm giving it to y'all on Shanti Jay. On Shanti's World, just so you guys can see that even though I'm leaving this marriage without a baby, even though I'm leaving this marriage without a kid, and even though I don't have a partner to even have a kid with, I'm still faithful. I'm still hopeful. And that other channel is going to show that when one man throws away the trash, another man is going to pick it up. No, I'm not trash. And no, I'm not saying that any of you are trash. But people have a mentality to think of you as such or thought of me as such. But that channel is going to show you when I do get my happy Boaz, when I do get my Abraham, oh, I'm going to show y'all. I'm going to show y'all. I'm going to show it off, and I'm going to tell it. I'm going to tell it, and I'm going to tell y'all the difference between what I had and what I got now, what I thought I had and what God blessed me with. And then y'all going to see the babies from that union or that commitment or that relationship. Y'all going to see the babies right here. So anyway, back to the story. So I ended up going home. I had spent 3 days in the hospital. They left me with one tube, thank God, because the surgeon told me that she wanted to take my other tube, but she just didn't because it looked swollen. But I'm glad she didn't take it, so I don't know what was wrong with her. But anyway, so I got home. They told me I had to be on bed rest for 2 months. So I took out my little short-term disability from work and everything like that, and it's actually crushed me because I'm so used to being on the go. You hear me? I'm so used to moving. I'm so used to being there, getting it done. You know what I mean? And I couldn't do any of that. I could barely even do anything for myself. I could barely walk. I could barely get to the bathroom. You know, I had to really take my time. So when I felt like, you know, I had to pee, I couldn't wait to the last minute. As soon as I felt that tingle, I literally had to get up. Even if I had to pee right then and there, I had to get up because the walk to the bathroom was so slow and painful. Because like I said before, you can't walk without using your pelvic bones, your pelvic muscles. And so when I was walking, all that was still moving. And so it really was painful. As far as the recovery process when it comes to the bleeding, guys, it felt like I was on a never-ending cycle, a never-ending period. It felt like every time I went to the bathroom, something was leaving me. Every time I went to the bathroom, I was bleeding. Every time I went to the bathroom, every time I wiped, I would see blood. And it just happened for about a good, I want to say a good week and a half after the surgery. But there was times when, like, when my cycle did come back, because it took almost a year for my cycle to come back, ladies. So when you have an ectopic or a rupture, your cycle is supposed to come back maybe 6 to 8 weeks, maybe 3 months at the longest, but it took mine over a year to come back. And when it came back, my cycles were not regular. My cycles had completely changed. I went from being a 5-day person on my period to being a 2 to 3 day. I went to being medium in flow to being very light in flow. I went to being very not crampy like. I went from being very crampy like to not having any cramps at all besides the day before my period actually started. So a lot of things changed with my body. But what I'm trying to get to is that it was actually 2 times in which I had got done on my cycle, and a string of black, like the blackest my outfit, came out. And I was looking like, what the hell is this? But it was part of the recovery because from my fallopian tube, that old blood and that old, you know, the bleeding from all of the surgery and everything, it still had to come out. It still had to expel itself. And this is what they don't tell you. So when you see black blood, you get afraid. You like, oh my God, it's black, not brown. Now, we're not talking about at the end of your cycle, you see that little brown. No, we're talking about black. And I was like, oh my God, I am so fearful. What is this? But I got to Googling. No, you shouldn't do that. But I did get to Googling, and they told me that it was old blood. I had to call them, my fertility doctors to confirm. And yes, they told me that I was going to have these string-like substances coming out for the next couple of months if, you know, my body didn't expel it all right after the surgery, right with the bleeding that was coming right after the surgery. So for me, I had 2 times where I had this string-like substance. So I'm going to actually put it here. But as you can see before I play the video, I am very in tune with my body, guys. Anything that comes out of my body, I do touch it. I do feel it. I do want to know the texture. I do want to know what it is and what it feels like. I am very in tune with my feminine body, my, you know, everything that comes with my body. I'm very in tune. So right here, if you look at the video, it is actually very stringy. I'm actually doing it with my bare hands, which is kind of gross. This is my body, so whatever. And as you can see, it's very stringy, and yeah, that's what pretty much came out. It didn't look like blood. It just basically looked like some old blood that was pretty much waiting to come out, and it expelled itself. So that was that. The next couple of months, the last month that I was on bed rest, I actually began to heal quite nicely. I got up and started dancing. I got up and started moving around again because I am a dancer. I teach liturgical dance at my church. And so I actually got up and was praying and was telling God, like, God, you know, I need you to heal me. I need you to heal these wounds I have. I need you to heal the insides. I need you to, you know, after I got over my thing of being mad with God, because I was mad with God. For the first month that I was on bed rest, guys, I was mad with God. If I'm honest, I was mad at God. And he knows I was mad at him. I cried, I was furious, and I still talk to him. I still prayed to him every day, but it was more so in a furious type of way. Like, God, why would you do that? Why are you at me right here? Why am I sitting here? Why are you at me doing this? Why are you at me doing that? But God's rejection is your protection, and God's not going to sit you down unless he wants you to see something. And he wanted me to see something, y'all. And it was right here when I noticed what I had in my marriage, what I had in my friendship in my marriage, and why this baby could not come about. This baby basically heard my husband deny it, saying that it wasn't his baby because of the things that we were going through in our marriage. At the time this baby was conceived, he didn't even believe that it was his. Mind you, we had no infidelity at this point as far as my knowledge is concerned, but we weren't in a good place when it came to our relationship. So it's just like, you know, when he said that, I was taken back because I'm like, well, we've been trying to do this for months. We've been trying to have this baby, not months, years. But we had just intentionally had been trying for those last previous couple months leading up to the pregnancy. So in my mind, it was like the baby heard that and was coming down the fallopian tube and just stopped like, what? You denying me already? I don't want to come into that. And just decided to stay in my fallopian tube and forgot that it was still growing and just decided to grow there. Because you denied the kid before the kid even got here. Now, man, you could have had your skepticisms or whatever the case may be, and that's why we have DNA tests at the end. You know what I mean? But I was so shocked and taken back, and that hurt me more to hear him say that than the ectopic that happened shortly after. So I told him before Father's Day, because I told everybody else on Father's Day. The reason why I ended up telling my husband before Father's Day is because I was holding on to the information. I found out like June 3rd, and I was holding on to the information for Father's Day, but he was such an ass. I'm sorry to curse, but he was such an ass to me, guys, that I had to just scream out one day, why are you being so mean to me? I'm pregnant, and you being mean to me. And I was, with tears in my eyes, I was so mad, and I was so frustrated, and I just yelled it out, and I just let it go. And he was just like, you pregnant? I'm like, yes, and you're being mean to me. And that was part of the hormones of probably the pregnancy as well. But he was just like, well, I don't know, it probably ain't mine. After we've been together for almost 6 years, going on 7, and you know we've had struggles. You say that, right? So that's why I keep preaching God's rejection is your protection, because my husband wasn't ready for anything that had to do with evolving our relationship. And that baby would have evolved our relationship, maybe for the worse. But going through a divorce and being, on the other side of it, looking back, I would have had a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old right now. And it would have been just me and my 3-year-old or me and my 2-year-old. I mean, not saying that my husband wouldn't have helped or been supportive financially, but who wants to just have financial help when you went into a marriage thinking that you were going to actually have the husband, wife picket fence, dog, kids, all of it, faithful marriage, everything for life. So, you just got to think about certain things and ask God what his vision is for you. Why is he not allowing you to do the things that you want to do? Why is he not allowing things to come to fruition for you that you have been praying for and that you wanted? Why is it that you have to, fail or feel like a failure? And honestly, guys, if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be here making this channel for you guys today. If I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be able to have a testimony to be able to share with you guys. If I didn't go through that, I wouldn't have nothing to show you. If I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be able to show y'all how to come out of it on top and be stronger than you were when you walked into it. If I didn't beat the depression for this, I wouldn't be on here talking to you guys without, having tears. I would be totally distraught. I was so messed up back then, y'all. Like, it took me a year to make the channel. I had the ectopic in 2019, and it took me to 2020 of December to even start it. So when it comes to the healing process, you have to take that one day at a time. You have to take care of your body, make sure that you're taking care of your hygiene when it comes to taking care of your scars and taking care of your vaginal area and things like that. You know, I had to wear pads. I'm a tampon girl, but I had to wear pads for the recovery. I cannot wear tampons at all because they did not want you to stick anything up there if you had a rupture, an ectopic, or anything like that. They want all the blood to be able to come out. So it's like you couldn't wear a tampon. So I had to feel all of the blood leave my body every single time. But it was good because my body was doing what it was supposed to do, and that was cleaning out, you know, the residue of what was left from the ectopic and the surgery and the baby and all of that. They pretty much got the baby out through the surgery, but it was pretty much like from the surgery what I had to expel out, like I just showed you guys the video and all of that. So part 3 of this video is going to be just, you know, how I got through the whole baby trigger thing, as far as like not want to see people's babies and strollers, not wanting to go to baby showers and things like that. But in this process of part 2, I do want to stress that this is when I got closer to God. This is when I said, you know what, your will is what's best for me and not my will. And I had to apologize to God, and I had to ask him for forgiveness for being mad at him, for being angry with him. And this is when he changed my life. This is when he turned my life around. This is when he healed me. Not just physically, but mentally. Not just mentally, but emotionally. Not just emotionally, but socially. And this is when I began to having to be exposed to people having babies, being exposed to baby shower invitations, being exposed to Walmart and Target baby sections, being exposed to commercials and things like that. And I didn't know that it was healing me at the time, but God knew what he was doing. So I'm going to come back with part 3, actually right after this, to get done with this whole ectopic thing, so that I can be able to go forth with other videos. But like I said in the other video, a lot of people made me aware that I never actually shared my story on what was happening and what was going on inside of my marriage at the time where the baby was lost, and it was a lot of hell that we went through. But in all, it worked out for the best. He doesn't have to deal with me when it comes to a kid, and I don't have to deal with him when it comes to a kid. But in turn, we will never forget the baby that we had together, and the children that we did lose on this journey. But I just want to stress that you guys, if you are in a relationship that you are good with, and you want to have a baby, and you want to, be successful, just keep trying. Don't give up hope. And eventually, it's going to happen for you. Just make sure you're in a good spot, in a good relationship, to where that there's a give and take, an equal reciprocity, where a baby can thrive, and where you guys won't be lost in, doing everything for the baby, that you guys' relationship will not be lost in the baby, that the baby will actually thrive from the relationship that you guys have. All right, guys, until next time, I'll see you.